Brian MacLeod is my name, and I met Mark not long ago, and lots of laughs and lots of abuse on my behalf. I got myself roasted, basically, and it was absolutely fantastic. It was one of the funniest things that I have ever been involved in. So I thank you for that, Mark.
So welcome to Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. I'm your host, Mark Riccadonna, and with me as always,
Richie Byrne.
Today we got a sweet show. This is going to be a lot of fun. Our guest today is, first of all, he's got the greatest stereotype of a cop's name, and he's a detective.
Yes.
But I so badly want Tom Briscoe to just bust in right now with a clipboard and go, MacLeod, get in the office. The chief wants to see you.
You know, there's a lot of young people out there who have no idea what you're talking about, Mark.
Yeah, but in every cop show, there was always the heavy-set detective with a clipboard who came in and would yell at the loose cannon to get in the office because the chief needed to talk to him.
Thank you for making it Briscoe and not me.
Hey, Mark, a funny little story is that I was the only MacLeod at the time on the police force, and that was like my claim to fame, you know, because there's a movie called The Highlander, and in The Highlander there can only be one, you know. But when my sergeant would want me in the office, you know, all I would hear is, MacLeod, get in here. And MacLeod, get in my office. And you just said it, and it is absolutely legitimately true. I mean, I could tell you the people that I worked with, and they were all confirm it. It was like the running joke that when my sergeant wasn't around, when he wasn't around, the other guys would say it. MacLeod, get in here.
So, I love it. Now, where did you work when you were on the job? Because you're retired now, right?
Yes. Yeah. I retired about 4.5 years ago. I did 25 years with the New York City Police Department.
Wow.
And my last 14 years, months and 13 days, I spent in homicide in Manhattan South homicide. So it was all suit and ties, professional looking, you know, as much as possible. No tattoos showing. You know, now I got all my tattoos, but now I could wear it because I'm retired and I don't give a fuck no more. But oh, did I just say the F word? Can I curse?
Yeah, you can curse.
All right. Well, I could tell you a little bit about. I could tell you a little. I apologize for that.
You don't have to.
But yeah, 14.5 years, almost. And it was an amazing journey. I worked with wonderful people. You know, the motto for New York City detectives are the greatest in the world. And the people that I worked with literally were some of the greatest detectives in the world. And I learned so much from them. And it allowed me to enhance my career because we were dealing with homicides, shootings, and anything high profile. Anything that you saw on the news, we were probably involved in. If we were working, if I was working, I'd be involved in it. If I was off, then my office mates would be working on it. So it was pretty fun and sad at the same time.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you have to have a sick sense of humor to deal with what you deal with day to day. So I imagine the humor at the station was probably pretty wild.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Major ball busting, as they say. I mean, that's what got us through the day. It was constant ball busting. And then when we're out on a case, we're as professional as can be because, you know, we're dealing with some serious shit. But this is not normal stuff that people deal with and that people should deal with. But, you know, it was a profession and you know, I worked with some really good people and we all leaned on each other. And, you know, I can't say enough about the people that I worked with, not only in the homicide squad, but also all the different precincts that we dealt with in Manhattan. We worked from the Ferry to 59th Street. fantastic detectives, very knowledgeable, and when it came to work, we got our stuff done. So you know,
What now?
hats off to them too.
Yeah. Now, before we get into any of the what you're up to now and talk about the thing on Netflix and all that kind of stuff, I wanted to ask to you, what is your favorite?
Yeah, you told me that. You told me. When I looked at the name of the show, I said, "Well, who's buying the damn drinks?" I said, "I'm going to be on Zoom."
We got to get this man a drink. Which TV show do you feel is the most realistic to your day-to-day work?
Well, there are a couple of different shows out there. NYPD Blue definitely, reenacted it very, very well. Barney Miller, which is one of the funniest of all time. That's the ball busting that goes on in the office. It's just, it doesn't matter. And it's funny. We have a picture of one of the guys. He was good at photoshopping, and we had the whole entire crew in our office because we had a Spanish guy, we had a black guy, we had a couple of Irish guys, we had a Chinese guy. So we were Barney Miller, and it was phenomenal. And it's ball busting that it's just like comedy. It's just like comedy. When you're telling a joke like you guys do, I mean, you can say pretty much anything you want because it's not personal. It's a joke. Everybody knows jokes. And it's not personal. If you get personal, that's when you had a problem. But we never had a problem because, we knew what we were getting ourselves into. So, I would say those two shows though, Barney Miller and definitely NYPD Blue.
I listen. Law and Order is one of my favorite shows on TV. I can watch a Law and Order. The second I turn it on and it's an episode of Law and Order, I have to watch till the end. Like it's just, it's a have to do thing. But I always found it so unrealistic because they would be in Queens and then you'd hear the dum dum and all of a sudden they're downtown Manhattan and it was only like 10 minutes. And I'm like, that's a 5-hour drive.
Well, absolutely. But in reality, especially with the detective work, we pretty much go anywhere the case takes us. If we have to go out of state, we'll take if we're close, shall we say, like say Jersey or Pennsylvania, we'll just call up the chief, say, "Hey, we're going out on a case," and we go there. And sometimes it consists of taking an airplane. I've had guys that I worked with. I mean, myself, I went to Ohio, I went to Miami, I went to Orlando, Tampa, and then in some other states as well. But I had guys that went to Costa Rica. It's wherever the case goes. But and you follow the leads to the end because that's what the job entails. Bringing justice to the victim and. On a serious note,
I'm sorry. I mean, how does that work though? Like if you're going to have to leave the state, I would think that you're probably in a rush to do it. Is there paperwork that has to go through or, you know what I mean?
Normally, that you're going on a case. But for instance, we had a case and it was shown on America's Most Wanted with John Walsh when it used to be on. And they put it on the air. And a friend of mine who had the case, my friend Jeff, he was, I think it was down in Washington, D.C., was where their office was. And the phone calls started coming in. Next thing we know, a tip comes in and, this guy is down in Miami right now. And I got my stuff together. I got a phone call. I got my stuff together. I traveled to the city and somebody drove me to the airport. And we took care of it later on. Because that's an urgent type of situation, and those things happen, and you deal with it later on. We got reimbursed, for what we put on the credit cards, and it's an emergency situation, and that happens. So just know that for your sake and everybody that's listening, all law enforcement guys throughout the country and detectives as well. Really, detectives, they are all on whatever it needs to be done. They're out there for you, and they're watching your back.
So this probably goes into what you're up to now. So we found out as we were talking after the show, Brian's part of a very cool project that's going to be getting released soon on Netflix, and it's with Dick Wolf,
Dick Wolf is
his production,
his company. Yes,
his
yes, and
company.
it's there's a couple of different guys that are working on it. As the executive director, they have this guy Adam Casson, really nice guy, and his whole team. There's a whole bunch of them. I take forever to mention their names, but it was a really cool project. I don't know. They're still in production of it. I was told that it's going to come out sometime in November or December.
Yeah, I
And
think
it's a
I saw.
mobile-
I think I saw a preview of it.
You know what? I don't know. I had texted him to find out exactly when it was coming out, but still waiting. But the premise, which really piqued my interest, and that's why I agreed to do it, is that they want to. They're really showing us in law enforcement as, not only our work in the cases that we work on, but that we're actually human beings and we deal with stuff and we're affected by stuff, and we're affected by stuff by the cases that we deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And sadly, when we're dealing with a case and you solve the case, another case comes along. So you don't really have time to think about the case right beforehand. But you know what? When you retire, it all comes out. All those hundreds of cases and thousands of autopsies that you go to, it's not normal stuff. So it should be a really, really fascinating show. I think they're going to win an Emmy for it, just based on the premise of it.
And what's the name
I
of
hope
it?
so for them.
They still have a working title, right?
There's no official name of it. I'll let you know, Mark, and maybe you can throw it out there when that time comes.
Absolutely.
But I know they are in a shutdown mode, meaning that all the filming has been done, and now it's just editing and bringing it all together. So I can't wait. I'm really excited, and I'm really excited for my family and my friends who, all those years that I worked and I was never around and stuck at work for 2 or 3 days at a time, sleeping in, we called it the rack, because there were bunk beds in there. And it was terrible, It wasn't the best facility, shall we say, but you got to lay your head down for a couple of hours and rejuvenate your batteries. But I can't wait for like families and friends when I missed all those special occasions. And so I hope they hear this too, and they're going to all watch, as well as all my friends. Hi.
Yeah, because I mean, it has to be so hard because the work you do is so intense that it's not like you just clock out and get to even go home and just be, okay, now I'll go coach the kids' baseball team, and none of that's going to stick with me. Like that has to be the hardest thing to decompress from work to home life. And then you have a beautiful moment with your kids and your kid catches his first fish and you're filled with joy and happiness, and then you have to go to see some of the worst parts of society.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll give you an instance, and this is legit. So when my daughter was very young, she got this little caterpillar, right? So we kept the caterpillar because she's only like maybe 3 or 4 years old, and we let it grow into a butterfly. And I ended up getting called into work, so I can't go to my vacation house, right? The place that I would go on vacation up in Pennsylvania. And needless to say, she goes up with her grandparents, and they release the butterfly. Right? Oh, look at that. A freaking bird comes out of the air and eats the damn butterfly. 1, 2, 3. All right. So, I don't know if she's traumatized by that. I don't know, but, shit, man. I've nurtured that thing for like 3 weeks, But, it sucks when you have to do that because people don't realize. And then like, what the hell? What's up with Brian? Why isn't he here? Because it's one of those things, as you were saying, at the end of if you're working 8.5 hours, the case is still going. Yeah, hey boss, I got to go. My kid's baseball game or this. No,
I know
we're
we
in
almost got the guy, but I gotta
we're
go
gonna
to
have to wait till tomorrow when I get in. No, it doesn't work that way. And sadly, sometimes at the end of the end of your shift, you're finding out that the person's in Philadelphia, or you're finding that they're out in Maryland. All right, now you're going on a road trip. and you're gone for 2 or 3 days, and they don't understand that. Being like my family, they didn't understand it, and all the people that I worked with, they did the same thing, and their families, most of them probably didn't understand it.
I think
So it was difficult.
I think comics would totally understand, because that goes on with us all the time. We're always getting called out of town to do this show. And, I love when people go, well, just take Saturday off. And I'm like, you don't just take Saturday off. It's not how it works. Saturday's the biggest night of the week. You know what I mean? I have to work Saturday. I can't say to the club, I'll do every night but Saturday, I lost friends over that, And the funny thing is I would go out of town, and because I was a comic, I'd get to watch a lot of people die too.
Oh man, yeah,
But
the
true.
big bomb, right?
People don't understand that. They just think, no, take off, or don't work that day. It's like, no, when shit comes up, it comes up. That's it. That's still, I mean, I'm not trying to compare being a cop, but I'm just saying it's the same concept of
the time, the hours are similar.
Hey, listen, it's different professions. I chose my profession. You guys chose your profession. I chose mine because I'm not really that funny. Otherwise, I would have loved to have been a comedian. But hey,
well,
maybe I can.
Funny.
Maybe
that didn't
him. Stop me at all.
Oh, all right. Then give me some lessons, okay?
Just hang out with Riccadonna. You'll get on stage. Look, you met him once. You were on stage with Gemini. There you go.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, and then I also got my balls busted by Denny.
Denny.
Oh, Denny was there too.
Richie.
At least I got 20 bucks.
He was a cop. Before we even knew he was a cop, he came in with a Wu-Tang shirt and a giant braided necklace.
Oh, really?
Nah.
There it is.
You know what this is?
It looks like a bike chain, like a motorcycle chain.
We're calling it, and we actually may go into business with it. We're gonna call it Redneck Bling. They're beer tabs with
no way.
I got a lock at the end. Yeah, way.
Oh my God! Put it closer.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Now Richie wants one.
All right.
I want that Pantera shirt though.
Yeah, I love the Pantera.
You gotta love Pantera. You gotta love heavy metal. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love all music, but I love heavy metal in particular.
Yeah. But he come in, he's sitting at the front table with our good friend who booked us there. He's sitting at the front table wearing the bling. He's got a Wu-Tang shirt on.
I got a hole in my mouth.
And so, where, Mark? Where were you performing?
So we're at there's this awesome gig. We do it once a year. It's Eagle Lake, and it's in Pennsylvania. It's this beautiful lake, and they have all these like cabins and stuff around it. And they do a comedy show once a year, and I did it twice with Denny. And this year we brought Gemini, and we brought Justin, the singer, Justin Gonzalez, and we did our Laugh Back show.
Oh,
and
cool.
we just had a ball. They're the most fun audience. I would say 70% of the people there are New Yorkers.
Yeah, pretty much. A lot of New Yorkers, a lot of people from New Jersey, pretty much on the East Coast. We got some people from Rhode Island, and a lot of Floridians. A lot of people come up from Florida, usually around Memorial Day, and then they leave Labor Day.
Yeah,
I put you on mute because of the NYPD helicopter up there, and I guess
looking for you.
I think maybe because I'm talking about my past experiences. They sent out the dogs to
it's
check
like that
on me.
scene from Goodfellas. Harry Nielsen's going to be playing in the background.
But and a lot of the people in the audience were in the service industry. Either there were some EMS people there. There were some Metro Police, I think, and
transit. Yeah, the transit department. Yeah, a lot of civil service workers.
It's a really great crowd. Everybody's there to have fun. There's some ball busting back and forth. It's not an easy just make fun of the people in the audience because they'll come back at you. I really enjoyed doing that gig. It's such a fun group. And then afterwards, we ended up staying till like 3 a.m.
Yeah, well, that leads me to as the person that actually booked you guys. She goes, Brian never shuts the fuck up. You know, you're going to be here till 3 o'clock in the morning. Well, what time did you leave?
3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well, right. Yeah. You know, and it's you know what makes me laugh is, you know, I'll talk, you know, you know, to my wife or something. And then when she puts her, you know, tries to say something, and I go on. You know, I just love talking to people. I don't really get to talk to people anymore because I'm retired. But anyhow, you know, and then I'll talk to her. She'll start saying something, and then it's like that old the orangutan video. This story going somewhere. And then
we'll post a picture up, but you sent me a really awesome picture of you getting a plaque, and you're in a military outfit. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So I went to a fundraiser last Monday. All right, and I'm involved. I help out with a foundation in Staten Island that my uncle's heavily involved in. You know, and I try to help them out when I can to pick up supplies and stuff, and they give it to the less fortunate through the Dr. Theodore Atlas Foundation, a wonderful, wonderful.
Oh, I know Teddy.
Foundation. You know, yeah. He's
I'm
such
from
a great
Staten
guy.
Island. I'm from Staten Island.
Oh, really? Sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 6 degrees of Staten Island. You know, it's not the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon. It's the 6 degrees of Staten Island. But yeah. So I actually have it out here. Or if you have the picture, you know, post it.
Yeah.
So I go to this. I go to this this fundraiser, and my uncle says, I'm gonna imitate him. Come on, let's go buy some tickets. We're gonna go in halves, you know. So we buy $150 worth of tickets, $100 for 50-50, $50 for the raffles that they pull. In the afternoon, it was a golf tournament, and I can't hit a golf ball for anything, so I went to the dinner. With that, I end up winning a set of golf clubs. I get a set. I win a driver. I win a Yeti Cup, 12 golf balls, and a couple of other things. A pretty freaking cool backpack cooler, like I really need one. But I ended up bidding on this sign that you'll probably post, and that was me taking the picture of it. And it's Robert O'Neill. All right, and Robert O'Neill is one of the members of SEAL Team 6 that killed Osama bin Laden. He's actually the one that did kill him.
Wow.
All right, and it's signed 207 of 9/11. All right, and it says, can I read it? Do you mind?
Yeah. No, go for it.
You know, once I hit 45, they say, you know, your eyesight goes. I've had contacts my whole life. Now I need reading glasses on top of that.
I know the feeling.
It says, we had just made it to the second floor of the main building. Most of my guys went right and left. Let me pull it up here. Most of my guys went right and left to clear the rooms. That left 2 of us to go to the final set of stairs to the 3rd and final floor, bin Laden's bedroom. I squeezed the shoulder of my point man to tell him we were going up. There must be a suicide bomber. But I'm tired of thinking about it. Let's just get it over with. We went straight through a curtain at the top, and he tackled some people. I'm actually getting choked up reading this. I went right, and there was bin Laden. I shot him twice in the head as he was standing, and once more for God and country, Geronimo. And then it's got pictures, I guess, of that crap hole over in Afghanistan. And then it's got a true American hero, as well as all the military men and women, but in particular, SEAL Team 6. And that hits home because I lost family. And we all probably know somebody that lost somebody, being from Staten Island. We had over 200, I believe, well over 200 people that perished. Wow. And sadly, in my line of work, I met a lot of people, so I know a lot of police officers, firemen, friends of mine that I went to school with from junior high school to high school, people I hung out with when I first started drinking, and I was an amateur drinker. You think you know what we're talking about. But I probably have like 20 people. And And that thing is my most cherished thing that I've ever put my hands on. And I hope one day that I can get in touch with this guy, Robert O'Neill.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know people that probably have his number because he's always out there and he does his own podcasts and he's on the news and all these different things. But I just want to tell him thank you for my family, for my family and my the people that love my aunt Joanne, who is more like my sister. She was only 13 when I was born. I have a younger aunt who passed a few years ago. She was only 5 years younger. And with that, my closest sibling of any, being my cousin, she's 7 years younger than me. So you can understand the relationship that we had. Like I don't call my aunts and uncles aunt. I don't say Uncle Mike, Uncle Jim. No, it's Mike, Jimmy. It was Billy. And my mom, I even sometimes call her Patty, but that's just to bust her chops. But, it was a terrible day that day. Unfortunately, I was there from the very first strike. I had just gotten off the Staten Island ferry. I took the 8:20 boat over and I got off at the boat it's only a 20-minute ride. And I got off the boat at 8:42.
Wow.
And it's only about maybe 10 blocks south of.
You were right there when it happened.
Yeah. And then I was there when the second plane hit. I actually hit the floor and a friend of mine picked me up off the ground. He was a district attorney, Rob. You know who you are, Rob, if you ever see this. And he says, it's a fucking second plane. And I'm like, and then just sheer shock kicked in. But we did what we had to do. I ended up somehow running into my lieutenant a little while later. I have no idea how. I guess it was divine intervention that he met up with me. And but unfortunately Dennis Morales, he passed away at 50 years old from the toxins from the Trade Center. And that was about, I think, 11 years ago. So, and just so all your viewers know, I mean, people are still being affected by this, mentally, physically, and, they need the support. The government has a fund to help with health issues that are contributed and documented from 9/11. It's not just that you say, oh yeah, I was there. It doesn't work that way. You have to have actual documentation. But my point is that people many years later, it's all starting to come out because sadly everything was pulverized there. There was not a piece of concrete that you could find. Furniture was, you maybe find a little piece of it. So don't forget. That's what I'm telling you guys, and I'm telling you viewers. Please don't forget. We got 2 weeks or so before the 9/11 anniversary. Which, if I can throw out something, I'm honored. I got a phone call last Wednesday by the World Trade Center Museum, and I'm going to be able to do some of the readings of the names of the victims.
Oh wow! Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how, but they said I was selected, and. Yeah, I'm just gonna remember them. Gonna remember Joanne. Her name was Joanne Smith Tabeek, and my mother's cousin, which would be my second cousin through marriage, Faustino Apostle, and a bunch of my other friends. Sucks, man. Yeah, I didn't want to get this into one of those type of conversations.
No, dude. I mean, this is real shit, man. And it's I was a teenager and I was working downtown, and it affected me, and I didn't have to stay. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have to. You guys had to go down and work and be part of the. I can't even imagine. It's a hard. And to go on a light note with a little humor is knowing my luck. If I had to read names, they would give me all the really long Latin and Indian names that I wouldn't be able to pronounce. That would be my luck.
That's my luck too. It's like Murphy's Law. And something can go wrong. It's going to go wrong. They're going to give me those names. But they said to me that they'll send like a little link of how to pronounce them. So that's good.
Oh, that's thank God.
So you would be able to do it. So
I would probably mess up like Smith. I'd be like John Smythe. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. You know, and that's funny.
That's
That's my family name is Smith.
is it? There you
Yeah,
go. The
yeah.
but dude, I mean, I that's such a powerful thing that they asked you to do, and I, I don't know the right word for it because you don't want to say congratulations because you wish
No.
you didn't have to do it.
And that'll
But
be you'll be that they air that still, right? Does it still air? Okay.
I hope so. I hope
Yeah.
so. I mean, and it, you know, just to keep it going, and people got to keep remembering. You know, they
yeah,
always said, yeah, what's that motto? Never forget. Never forget. Unfortunately, too many people have. You know, that's why
yeah,
I still had a job and I was in business when I was in a homicide squad because people forgot. You
yeah,
know, and they just went back to their criminal behavior. And you know, and I would say that the what you had just referred to, I think it would be more, you know, you should be honored. I am honored.
yeah.
You know, it's not a congratulations. No, it's an honor, and it's just
Mhm.
like an honor to have that sign. You know, there's only 911 of them. I got one of them. How to? I have no idea. I was lucky that day. That's the only time I had any luck, and it's because I was with my uncle. Because that guy has more freaking luck than anybody. Goes to the casino. Hey, I won 1,200 bucks. Calls me back. No shit, I was wrong. I read the numbers wrong. I won 12,000 bucks. I'm like, get the fuck on penny slots. You know, fucking guy. Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah, that's I gotta say, just thinking of how hard your job is, of what you put up with, and to be able to have a smile and a laugh like you do, and when we were at the comedy show, like you were getting your balls busted, and just having fun with it, and I think you were laughing harder than anybody else in the room.
Oh, I had that mask on from my nose down. If you watch the video, I know it was posted. Somebody had that whole
We
entire
do
clip
have
of
that
that set.
video somewhere.
Dude, I could send it to you. If you try to zoom in on my face, I was literally crying under there in laughter. And I knew, you know, listen, detectives, we have to be smart, right? We have to be
Yeah,
quick-witted. You know, we got to catch the bad guy. You know, if we're interviewing a bad guy, right? In the box, we call it. You know, it's four walls, and you got to listen intently and just know where the person's going. And that's what I was trying to do with Gemini. And that's why at the end of it, when that part, remember that? I knew
yep.
where he's going with it. And when he threw his voice, oh my God, I was freaking dying. It was awesome. All of you guys were phenomenal. Such
Oh,
talent. You know, you funny as F, very, very funny. You know, the singer
Denny.
was Denny. I want to know how he did that rope trick. I really do, because
Yeah.
he threw that rope at me, and I threw it back, and that thing was tight as can be, and he snipped it, and I watched him snip it. Everybody watched it, and he had those little knots. Weird as fuck, man. You know.
Well, hey, we got to wrap here because we got to have you back on.
Yeah,
We didn't even get
yeah.
into telling stories about you on the job. We didn't touch any of the notes, but you and I have been going back and forth texting.
Dude, I was
So
just sending you. I was just sending you text saying, "All right, I could talk about this, and that." You know, just to keep a list of things that I think
things
would,
to,
you know, be funny. And all I
yeah.
kept hearing was ha 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 ha. I'm like, you know, I don't think it was that funny, but all right, cool.
Well, we'll definitely we'll go off air and then we'll schedule you another date
Yeah,
to
yeah.
come back on.
Don't leave when we say goodbye. Stay on.
Yeah.
All right, absolutely.
So we'll wrap up here. That was Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. Thanks for listening.